Oh wait, I never did the phone call with the bucket. I'll save that for the last one. Alright, you do one. That looks a lot different. Alright, let's continue. The sequel is now paused. I haven't seen that yet.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's first do the mind control facility with the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I feel like this room only shows up if you hold the bucket, though.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Basically, yeah. I'm just trying to see what's left. Because, I don't know, I may never touch this game again after the stream. Well, not because I don't like it, but if I'm streaming for 5 hours, then yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to find everything.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I just don't know how much could be left after 5 hours of this game. Especially since I'm pretty sure I did either most or all of the original gameplay in the first
to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
There it is. 47. Same.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things?
I'm not even sure I'm going to chop this up for YouTube. I have no idea.
In the first place, these questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
I'm not even sure I can trust the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Oh, we absolutely have to let the bucket take over.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control
Silly
buttons
birds.
became active again.
Silly birds. Silly
Stanley
birds.
flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Silly
The mind
birds.
controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along?
Aww.
Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this
You have an
incredible
interesting beak.
discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken,
Hey, Chrissy,
this
it's
one
you.
was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Nope.
All of his
Whiteboard ending.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, the embrace of an old friend. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
All right, let's go be free. Yes, yes, I'll find it later. I might do that next after this. No,
Coming to a staircase,
Yeah,
Stanley
that might
and
be
the
the thing
bucket
to do.
walked upstairs to the boss's office.
no, I'm gonna do the bucket end, the phone call ending.
Stepping
I
into
think,
his
Chrissy, you
manager's
screwed me up.
office,
I don't know why I
Stanley
called it
was
the
once
bucket
again
ending.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
I think the bucket ending is
Was
the
it
birds.
the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Uh-huh.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret
You
did this
missed the
place
penguins?
hold?
Aw, that's a
Stanley and the bucket
shame.
both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
But will everything be fine?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raised furiously
I'll tell you
in
what,
Stanley's
if
feeble mind.
we get through all these endings and I still feel like there's a lot of time, we'll
He
do
screamed
the
into
birds
bucket.
again.
He couldn't accept it. His
find the
own
penguins
life
again.
in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he...
And the bucket is free.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin
sneeze?
watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True,
Why?
it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket.
No.
To any lengths not
We
to
were
bark
so
the bucket.
close.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
No.
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped.
I don't know.
Very soon now, he was about to find out. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
I am a little curious about one thing. So, the ending where you go... Okay, no. I can't get the bucket ending with the ending where you go back in your office. It doesn't work. Alright, to the phone.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee
Oh, wait,
lounge
there might be
was
another
simply
ending.
the place to be.
I thought of two things now.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose
gonna
not
unplug
to
the
think
phone
about
first.
this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Yep. Until now. Unplug.
Now pick up the...
Oh,
There we go.
Hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you
Easy.
trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was
Absolutely.
joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk.
you're
It was
wrong.
a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is.
What?
It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Okay. Comedy video.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it
Was
be
this made
taught
during
in
the
its
Red Scare?
entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny. Sure. I'm Dunny with the funny. I'm Dunny with the funny.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all.
This is your assignment.
Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles.
When did we enter
all of us must be
Trooper?
Prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
For educational purposes
only. Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter.
Just a bit.
I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate
you didn't need to hear me.
delivery.
It wasn't that important.
Come along, let's head back.
Basically, it's at a part where you're supposed to have you have an assignment, basically. I'm going to give you a report on if I'm funny or not.
I can feel it.
The answer
this time,
must be
I'm really going
no.
to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Yeah, just wing it. You'll be fine. See? That was the trick, Chrissy. The fact I told you to say no, you want to say yes. It's perfect.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone
It's because you didn't spell your
immediately
name.
after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional
Don't make me watch
video
that thing again.
Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
God damn it.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Yep. Am I stuck?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
Oh, he's got puns. I can't compete with puns.
I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will...
You seem pretty empty without a bucket, man.
Again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
You pale in comparison to the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, now I have to answer the phone.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Yep, got a bucket with 2 stickers. Property of Stanley and a bucket of a sticker of a bucket on a bucket. Bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
The end still feels a little slidey.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Am I gonna see my wife again?
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Take the bucket home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object?
Where's my bucket?
I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley? Can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location.
Or a solid.
That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Or a solid. Don't listen to the loud man. Bring the bucket back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to.
Ignore the loud man.
Now all he
I have
cares
the
about is
bucket.
his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Ignore the loud man. All I need bucket.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Of course you're a real bucket. Let's go home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Or a solid. Relive the same day over and over with me. Yes, bucket.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
'Cause it is. It's my bucket. Go home.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going
Oh,
on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has
Okay.
to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong
get
with
outta
me? I don't
here.
understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket,
No.
Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Close my eyes. Okay, that felt a little weird for me. Go back to work, Stanley. Alright, well that was an experience.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Okay, am I missing any endings? I think I got most of them, if not all. Let's go find the last figurine. Or Stiggly Wiggly, whatever it was.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not
Mini
the
Stan.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
He had a bunch of
well.
different names for them.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by
Stiggly
the
Wiggly.
employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Stiglerine.
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
Wait, did I
first
just
open
miss
door
it?
on
Just
his
said he
left.
walked to the room and just said it was okay. I missed his
Stanley was so
nonchalance
bad at
about it.
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to
wonder if it's
help
always
you,
said no
to show
buckets.
you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on
Oh,
your
hey.
side.
This
And
is
there
mine.
it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly
Savor
Wiggly.
This moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we
Yeah,
can
we're
go
done.
to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Is that it?
Now
That's
listen
a shame.
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, can I leave? No. I think the faster way to get back to square one would be this way.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really
Too bad I
have
can't bring the
wanted you
bucket
to
in
be
here.
happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop.
Yeah.
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, I can just do this. The end is never the end, 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 is never the end. Okay. What's left? What? No. No.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them
Figglers?
since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it
Yeah?
just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you
It's
to
okay.
the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love
guess.
nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Where's my bucket? Can I have my bucket?
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said
No, we
6
did.
right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Oh, I have 7 out of 6 now.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6.
Thanks.
But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
I think the boss's bathroom?
No. The boss's bathroom was the 4th place you found a Stanley, not the 3rd.
No, that doesn't
Well,
sound
I guess
right.
perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If the boss's bathroom feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments?
I feel like it was.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well,
No,
I
we
can't
didn't.
actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No, it didn't.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Okay. Early YouTube days. God, this is the classic YouTube days. Was that my actual controls? I don't think it was.
takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time
Sure.
making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
That's classic YouTube right there. And the last one was the red and blue door.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by
Yep.
the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh, they converge. That's fine.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the
You are
present
in the
moment.
present.
Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh. I guess we're done here.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go
Why?
backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Why? Okay?
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going.
said
I want
that already.
more. And here's where I made that
Are you
video.
gonna play the video
Don't
again?
you remember the video we watched?
We're watching it, aren't we? God. They just sped up. Okay, they cut a bit out.
I love that video.
They cut a bit out. That's fine.
Still
This
don't
didn't
remember
happen.
the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Can I go the other way now? No, replace the warehouse one completely with the pink.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
I'm gonna skip the first one, if I
This
can.
is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
I'm gonna skip that one. No, I've had like 17 out of 6, so I'm good.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Save the rest.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
I don't think choice matters.
And before everything else, there was your office.
I hate Mondays.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
You're upset I didn't grab the last one. That's fine.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent
Cheer him
Stanley?
on. You ridicule me every time I don't agree with you.
Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling the story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Bucket.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
remember
and entered the door on his
Someone
left.
told me about an escape pod ending. I don't know how to get there. So I'm trying to just retrace my steps in my head of where I've been. There's gotta be something I missed. I have an idea.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Reboot the game entirely.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in...
Oh, that worked. Alright, let's bail. I don't remember this store being here. This wasn't here before. No, because I had the shortcut. So where did all this come from? You are now leaving. Escape pod. Okay. Well, now I have to go back and do this without the bucket. Escape pod. Let's get out of here. We shall be free. And we have an ending. What? You're sending the bucket and that's it, aren't you? You're gonna send the bucket. You're not gonna go with them. You're choosing to stay behind. There is plenty of room. This isn't like the door from the Titanic. There's plenty of room. God damn it. I also like how the narrator just never came back for that one. Oh my god. The bucket's gone. Wow.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The bucket's just gone. I sent it off. Wow, is that it for the bucket?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Well, now I gotta see if I can follow it. What the? I don't know why, that gave me chills.
Here's the door, just go.
Crap. Well, now I don't want to go. No, we're going back. We're going back. I gotta do this right.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I'm curious the
What
bucket's
could it
still
mean?
gone.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
No,
room.
bucket's here,
Perhaps
or
he had
whatever.
simply missed a memo.
It still freaked me out that the bucket was gone. And then
When Stanley came
how
to
the
a set
door
of 2
opened by
open
itself.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
Well, now I'm curious if I can go
Yet
back
there
and
was
pick the
not a
bucket up
single
as I'm
person
going.
here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, see? He does that. I think he's doing that because I'm moving too fast.
Here's the door.
Perfect. I'm still curious if the bucket's gonna be there. And if I could go down. That might be another ending I have to try. Going down after that. That door's closed. The bucket is here, but I'm going to leave it. Now leaving. Yep, now it's just me. There's no bucket. I don't feel like it's going to let me escape. I feel like I'm going to get close and then something's going to happen. Or the bucket's already going to be in there and leave. No, but this may have been the original, so I don't know what this is. Next floor, guess we'll see. Oh, there's the escape pod. Oh, cuts to black. There is no escape for me. Or maybe that's implying Stanley escaped. Alright, I gotta do one thing. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I have 2 ideas for endings left. One involves the bucket and one without, so I'm gonna go without first. But if it doesn't work without, I don't think I plan on trying it with the bucket.
When Stanley
Basically the
came
same
to
thing
a
I did
set
last
of 2
time.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
But I'm going to try to go down the stairs instead of getting
Yet
back
there
out.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't like that it does this now. Maybe I should slow down.
Here's the door.
Okay. Now, instead of doing everything else, we're just gonna go down the stairs. Nope, nothing down here. That's it. Okay, I don't have anything else to try. I guess,
Stanley
Chris,
decided
if you...
to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Alright, Chrissy, I don't really have anything else, so if you want, I can go back and do the silly birds.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective, yet delicate, assertive, yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I think I did every ending with the bucket. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I'm almost sure that doesn't go anywhere.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Oh, wait. I do have one more idea.
I
have one more idea before Silly Birds.
Bucket guiding him?
I'm sorry, Chrissy.
Yes,
I have one more idea.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
It's gonna be stupid, but it might do something different. Remember this elevator I can go up and down? I never went up and down with the bucket. Yeah, you can be mad, but I want to do this before I just end the stream, so that's probably going to be the last thing I do is the Silly Birds. There's really not much else for me to do.
Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
See, there is something. I never pressed the number 3 though, so I wonder why he's obsessed with the number 3.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
No, I'm convinced there's more. There's more. I know there's more. Let's go back.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
I know there's more here. Why does it flip me around?
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears, and the whole time he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
All right.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
There's gotta be more.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it,
Stanley,
developing and
live on
rehearsing it
stage.
until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one. There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over.
My speech is just
He
3.
was unloved,
That's it.
uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back
Oh, I
into
didn't
the
notice this.
unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Go out with your head high. The end is never the end. It's 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 never the end. Well, that's all I can think of. Got nothing else.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
All right, Chrissy, I've got nothing else. Let's go see silly birds.
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps, Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I'm coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotion, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
All right, Chrissy, are you there? We're gonna see silly birds.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
All right, good, Chrissy. Let's go see silly birds.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket
And then
had
I
never
honestly
seen
think I'm just
anything
gonna end the
like
stream
this,
after
and
that.
it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything
I'm
would
sure
be
there's
fine.
plenty I've missed. I just have no idea where to find it.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
I want to say I did the confusion ending, but now
He
I'm not
screamed
sure.
into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He
I might try
squeezed
that
the
after
bucket
Silly Birds,
tighter.
but then I'm
His
done.
one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
No, I did that. I swear I did that. So I went down, and then he did the
But
whole
here was
intervention
the
thing.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery
All right,
would never
it is
again
time.
exert it. But at the last
Silly
second,
birds.
the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket
Silly
have
birds.
betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Silly birds.
Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Penguins.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
That's it. I think we're done. Just gonna...
Someone was following Stanley.
Take
He
one
was
last
sure
look
of it.
around.
If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time. Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, no, surely not. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
That's it for me, guys. I think I've pretty much found everything I really wanted to find from this game. And if I missed something, I missed it. I might come back to it myself, but as for the stream, I think we're done. This is Chaos Hero signing off. Have a good night, everybody.